This is The Download from Sounds Profitable, your daily source for the essential news in the business of podcasting. I'm Gavin Gaddis. Here's what you need to know for today, Monday, June 23rd. Before I get into the top story, a reminder, this Thursday, June 26th, at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Sounds Profitable and SiriusXM Media / SiriusXM Podcast Network are teaming up for the free webinar, Unlock the Power of Purpose-Driven Podcasting. It's a lot of plosives I hope I didn't hit the mic with. A presentation of data from the podcast landscape 2025, focusing on two of the industry's fastest growing audiences, health and fitness and self-improvement customers. Join webinar hosts Tom Webster and Alexandra Kajia as they break down how these audiences use podcasts to build daily routines, the surprising social role recommendations play in their content choices, and why those genres lead in openness to brand integrations and celebrity-hosted shows. Registration is free and open now. Reserve your seat, even if you'll only need the edge. First up, influencers step onto center stage at Cannes. Content creators and content marketing have become more and more of a presence at Cannes Lion in recent years, and now are a force strong enough to garner coverage in the New York Times, as this article indicates. Major holding companies have flocked to the creator economy, with names like WPP acquiring content creator-focused agencies like Villager Marketing over recent years. Darman, owner of the 25 million subscriber Darman Studios channel focused on producing Hallmark-esque morality tales, made the trip this year to get in front of marketers and make deals thought impossible to YouTubers just 10 years ago. Speaking of video, Brian Barletta brought his camera with him to Cannes and interviewed several industry leaders about the world of audio advertising. You can catch the full series in a YouTube playlist I'm linking in today's episode, or you can keep an eye on Brian's LinkedIn as they'll be going up there as well. I'm going to be a busy bee in the editing suite this week. You're going to like what I'm putting out here. On to our next story, how news podcasts covered the U.S. bombing Iran, or didn't. A snapshot of how the world of news podcasts handled the breaking news of U.S. forces bombing nuclear facilities in Iran Saturday night, well, by U.S. time zones at least. On Sunday morning, for the U.S. again, options were limited as more influencer-focused podcasts got episodes out earlier in the day or during the event itself. For example, The Charlie Kirk Show covered the events as details unfolded live from a YouTube live stream. Midas Touch Podcast had a 10-minute update posted by Saturday morning, while NPR had Up First and NPR News Now feeds updated mid to late morning. As writer John Wardock notes, YouTube's live stream capabilities add an extra layer of access to news podcasts that have the capability to jump on breaking news stories in the moment instead of waiting for whatever recorded content to be actually produced for the main feed. Next up, Spotify faces scrutiny over alleged plan to cut music royalties using subscription bundling. Senators Marsha Blackburn and Ben Ray Lujan have called for the FTC to investigate Spotify over allegations the streamer is changing Spotify premium subscriptions into more expensive bundled subscriptions without informing customers what is happening or prompting consent beforehand. The senators propose this move is motivated by an incentive to lower music royalty payments, as current regulations allow digital music services to pay lower royalty rates if their paid music offering is in a bundle with other legitimate services. Allegedly, Spotify is doing this by converting premium subscribers into a bundle with podcasts and audiobooks. The senators estimate this quote-unquote bundle move will reduce royalties paid by over $150 million in the first year of implementation. As of this recording, Spotify has not directly responded to Inside Radio's request for comment. Next up, Canadian podcast industry calls on federal government to fund podcasting as core cultural sector. A coalition of Canadian podcast creators, producers, and platforms have published an open letter to Minister of Canadian Identity and Culture, Stephen Guilbeault. The letter urges the Canadian government to formally recognize and fund podcasting as part of the country's cultural and creative industries. Co-signers of the letter include Jar Audio, Kelly and Kelly, Pod the North, and Digital First Canada. With Canada's focus on preserving Canadian culture via defining Canadian content, I've linked to the Wikipedia on CanCon, by the way, it's a very fun read, and enshrining it amongst local broadcasters, the coalition argues podcasting's increasing popularity indicates the same protections and support should be given to the newest medium. A move that would also shore up Canada's podcasting industry from being overshadowed by US-produced shows and AI-generated content without the cultural context, public accountability, or long-term creative plans found in formal CanCon. For the final top story today, Tubi adds hundreds of episodes from YouTube creators, including Rhett and Link's Mythical, Funny Mike, Dan and Rhea, and Watcher. The Fox-owned streaming platform Tubi has announced deals with 6 YouTube creators to distribute over 500 episodes of their existing shows on the platform, with plans to bring in more YouTube-originated content in the coming weeks. The deals all live under the umbrella of Tubi for Creators, a program designed to bring creator content to Tubi under team leader Rich Bloom, formerly a senior executive at Vimeo. While this is not the first time a fast, free ad-supported TV streaming service has allowed or intentionally sought out content originally uploaded to YouTube, it is further recognition that content creators, influencers, and of course podcasters are producing the kind of content that engages with audiences enough to want to watch ads. As for the rest of the news, with Ross Adams stepping down from his nearly 8 years as CEO of Acast, the board has announced Chief Business Officer Greg Glenday has been chosen as the new CEO effective immediately. 20,000 Hertz host Dallas Taylor has launched the YouTube adaptation of the podcast, with the first episode featuring a trip to the Jeopardy studios to discuss the show's iconic sound design. AudioStack has a new case study detailing their objectives, plans, and executed solutions to promote free eye exams and in-store discounts for a leading American eyewear brand. At this point, it'll never be safe to go back in the water because Jaws just turned 50. The first ever summer blockbuster hitting 50 inspired John Wardock to write out some lessons podcasting can learn from the then 27-year-old Steven Spielberg's infamously complicated production that ended up changing movie making. Attribution and analytics platform Podscribe has published 3 new updates to the platform, enhancing transparency, delivery tracking, and campaign management. And finally, the Radcast Network has signed Jason Ramsey's podcast, Love Your Brand. Be sure to check out the links to every article mentioned right in your podcast listening app or at soundsprofitable.com, where you can also subscribe to get the newsletter version of the show. The download is written and produced by myself, Brian Barletta, and Tom Webster. For Sounds Profitable, I'm Gavin Gaddis. Download us again tomorrow.